John shirt make my shirt look gray.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ETA podcast, Entrepreneurs in the Arena. Listen, today we got a special subject. It's talking about the fast track to 10,000 a month cash flow. That is the new norm. If you're an entrepreneur, the new norm minimum monthly is $10,000 a month. So for that, we got a special message for you today. I'm going to pass it on to Mark. And Mark, tell the listeners, tell the viewers, man, what would be some of the shortcuts or some of the ways to get to 10K a month? And I'm going to jump in right after that with some things. What would you say?
Thank you for the introduction, man. So first thing you want to do, you need to find somebody that's doing it already, right? You need to stand on the shoulders of giants that's doing the things that you want to do in order to avoid the pitfalls, avoid making mistakes. And I learned in this industry, in business and sales, the trick on to the fast track is using someone else's brain when it comes to what they're specialized in. And also then get with them and then set a real clear goal that set the expectations when it comes to that. When I say expectation, I mean from how many people you need to speak to, how many people you need to call, the numbers, your schedule, right? The routine, and then you need to be committed to whatever schedule that you set out in place. Because sometimes throughout the day or even throughout the week, things happen that we have no control of. That's why it's very important to stay the course in order to reach your goal. Now that's one. That's two things I named. Find the right mentor who's doing it already. Two, create a schedule, a routine in order to execute. Now I could go on and on. I got 7 more actually in my head, but before I continue, I would like to hear what Mr. Leonardo, I would like to hear some of the things that you have in your mind when it comes to making 10K. I mean, the fast track as far as 10K.
You know, we refer to a lot of activity, right? I think you definitely need activity. So everything you mentioned is super important. But as an agent, I feel that you have to have some type of routine as well. Because once you have a routine and you're organized, you know how much more you have to step it up. So let's say I did 5,000 last month. I know that I have to at least do double the amount of work, just simple mathematics, in order to get to that 10,000 norm. So I feel that you have to have a strong routine as well. Work ethic is always going to be there, and as well as discipline. You know, in our masterclass, that was one of the greatest topics we ever talked about. It was which is better, discipline or is it work ethic? And a lot of points were raised. And one of the things that I did take away from it is that they work hand in hand. So along with all the stuff that you need as far as leads and as far as mentorship, I really feel that you need the mindset and the routine, the discipline to go with the hard work to actually get the task completed. It's not as hard as people think. If you break it down, it's just, like eating an elephant. You eat it one bite at a time. So it's really not all that difficult. You just got to realize in my business, like I said, in my business, which is insurance, is 10,000 is a goal. All right. So how much do I need to do weekly? How much do I need to do daily? And then that'll keep me working hourly to make myself get to that goal that much easier. These numbers, no matter what numbers they are, honestly, all besides everything we mentioned, the first thing is to never get overwhelmed. Don't get overwhelmed by the number because, just because you've never done it before and it is the new norm and you're not there, don't get overwhelmed because it seems a lot larger, but break it down piece by piece, week by week, day by day. You can even go down to hour by hour. That'll tell you if you're in phone sales. Again, in my business, if you're in phone sales, how many phone calls does it take you before you get a certain amount of cash flow? And then the same thing with if you're going door to door, how many doors do I have to go to? It's all mathematically done. And that's what I love about my business, that you could actually break it down and only be off by a few. It's not going to be exact, but you have a few because the formula is so simple on getting there. And that's one thing we have is great mentors that can actually lead you in that direction. We got people that have done it before, so it's easy. It's a game of copy the right cat. What do you think about all that, John?
That's it, man. You said it well on. And before we go into giving more details on how to fast track to $10,000 a month, right? Because I'm going to give you a formula right now. It's not rocket science. It has been done. It is being done. I've done it. You guys have done it, right? There's an actual formula that you follow on how to double your income. Let's say you're making $5,000. How can you double it in the next 15 days? It doesn't take forever, right? It does not take forever at all. But before we address the formula, why should people care about making $10,000 a month, man? Like, what's the deal with that? Like,
I can tell you a few things that's life changing. If you're used to making 2,000, I mean, most people that I know make anywhere between 2,500 to 3,500 a week, and that's if they got a good job. So if you go into that, let's take on the low end, 2,500. If they're doing that a week on a good job, that's $2,000. Imagine doing 10,000. You just change your whole life, your whole way of living, because you did more than double, than triple what you normally do. So whatever you're doing for your family, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, that changes everything. 10,000 changes everything. As a matter of fact, 10,000 a month puts you close to the 1%, because that's over six figures at the end of the year. And as an entrepreneur, if you do the proper steps, you'll keep most of that in your pocket. What do I mean by that? You got an LLC, you write off your business, everything's an expense. That changes your whole life, because 2,500 on a W-2 is not what it seems to be. You know, people get that misconception. When I was in education, everybody would look at my W-2 and say, wow, Leo, you made $136,000. Oh my God, why would you leave that for insurance? And I'm thinking, yeah, it looks good on paper, but I still don't know how I'm paying my mortgage at the time, you know? It doesn't make sense because Uncle Sam was getting most of it. Now, when my first time making six figures here, I made 110 and I was able to buy a new car. Does that make sense? So you got to start understanding the difference in having your value. So doing 10,000 and doing it for yourself changes your whole life. And after you do 10,000 a month, guess what you're going to want to do? You want to elevate to go more. And when you go more, now we need to change and add a new chapter to your life. It's all about changes and building, because each and every one of us has the value, has to know our value. And there's no way that anyone in corporate America is ever going to pay you what you're worth. It's really that simple. That's what $10,000 does to you.
So
$10,000.
So $10,000 a month, that equates to the American dream. The American dream, able to live stress-free as far as making the payments on the car, 2-car, living in the home with 2-car garage, putting your kids in the best schools. Education is very important, right? Being able to go to the best restaurants, being able to eat the best food, right? And have good food, good meal, in order to stay healthy. Go to the gym, work out. This stuff costs money to live a better lifestyle. Now, I always tell people the new six figures is actually $250,000. It's $250,000. You know, back in the 80s, that was everyone go, hey, 6 figures here, 6 figures here. 6 figures can't take you, it'll take you but so far, but your goal is to make more than that. But that's a good start. $10,000 a month, making 6 figures is a good start. It's a great start, actually. So that's my view. Being able to travel 2, 3, 4 times a year, and all this stuff, you need capital. And I think $10,000 a month, 10M a month, right? It'll get you there. You can live a real good life. It is life changing. You can be able to sleep at night even better, and you'll be able to contribute to whatever cause you believe in.
Yeah, and one thing I like Grant Cardone says, man, listen, if you're not making more money than what you need, you're selfish, right? You're selfish. It's actually even biblical. The Bible says that a good man, a good father, builds an inheritance for his children's children. It's not just for us, right? Obviously, a fast track for people that don't have the money to build an inheritance even for themselves, never mind their children. A fast track for that is a big life insurance policy, right? You could pass on that money without tax. Trust me, that's the only money legally that you can pass without tax. It's a life insurance policy. So that's a quick shortcut, right? It's a quick shortcut. But let's bring this puppy down, because I know the viewers and the listeners right now, they've experienced death in a family, right? I know I've experienced 3 deaths not long ago, right? It was my wife's grandmother. She was in her mid-90s. She lived a well-lived life. Then he followed by my father, right? And then he followed by my father-in-law, all within 3 years. All right. Now, the difference here is 2 of those folks, they're white. They left everything paid. My father, Dominican, he left nothing paid. No will, nothing in writing, left 2 properties in the air, nothing in writing, right? Preparation. All right. Why is it important to make over $10,000 a month? Because if your expenses are $5,000, now you got an extra $5,000 to take care of the ones you love in case of something happens, right? And like you guys said, better education, better food. You know the good feeling is when you go to a restaurant. Like I noticed this lately because I started my fitness journey again this year, and I took it serious. I did it last year. I kind of left it midway throughout the year because I thought I was having heart problem. It was a pre-workout crap I was taking. All right. I even went to the hospital, the emergency room. I thought I was dying. I was like, man, what's going on here? So that scared the life out of me, literally. But you know what it is to go to a restaurant and where the number you're looking for is how many calories is in that meal.
Versus the price, right?
Versus the price. Usually people are looking from the right to the left. Right. They're trying to find out. And like, imagine this, like for men watching right now, this is going to tell how much of a man you truly are. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine if your daddy, your master, your boss dictates the lifestyle you give to your family. Dictates whether you can go on vacation, dictates how many days of vacation you get. Now, if you got something between your legs, you're cringing right now. All right. If you got none, then you keep on watching, buddy. But they dictate what you can eat. Can you eat steak or should you be eating chicken or tuna? They dictate where you take your wife out or your significant other. They dictate where your kids are learning from. The LGBT crap, listen, that stuff is like a cult, it's like a religion, and they're getting religious rights. It's all over public school, everywhere. Good luck with that. All right. It dictates whether when your father dies, whether you have money to put money towards a funeral or pay the whole funeral or fly the entire family to the country. All right. It dictates that when your mother or your grandmother needs medication, whether you're able to pay it or if you have to go beg the government to pay it for them. It's not just about the money, folks. And not only that, but the number one cause for deaths in the United States today, it is stress. And what is the number one thing that people stress over? Is money.
Money.
Like, we're not just saying make 10,000 just for the heck of it. We're saying it's going to save your health. You may actually even lose some weight, right? Because stress alone, it just puts weight on you.
That's right.
Trust me, I know for a fact. And panic attacks. Trust me, I had those too. No fun, I tell you. All right? So it's not just making money for the sake of having nice cars and nice houses alone. Yes, that is going to happen. All right? But it's like, man, who's dictating how I live my life? Who said that where you live is where you're supposed to live? Other than your daddy, your boss. All right?
Well, you know, the crazy part is that I love the channel that we're on, you know, ETA, because you shouldn't have a boss. You know, one of the things that really caught my attention about the industry, it's funny. I went to, you know, most people talk about these things. I went to a meeting, and the guy that did the meeting did something very unique, and I think that's what caught my attention. I didn't care about the numbers. I went there for interest of learning how to fix my personal situation with 403B, but he did something that really stands out. He said, how many of you would like to take control of your life? You know what? Let me show you how I control my life. This is how I control my schedule. I don't want to work today. So I take my phone and I make a phone call, and he really called, right? And then he went in his pocket. He called his other phone and he picks it up and he goes, hello? He goes, yeah, I'm not going to work today. Okay, no problem. All right, I might see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. I found so much power in that. Everything else didn't matter. You know why? Because I worked in a school, and I know it's all over Instagram now, so you see it a lot more. But the way schools are ran are very similar to the way prisons are ran. It's on a bell schedule. So you're trained from very young to react to bells. So it's like, bing, I have to go here. Bing, I'm getting these kids. Bing, I'm on lunch. I'm about to go to the bathroom. Bing, I can't go to the bathroom now. So it's like someone was controlling me. So when I first really started doing this business part-time, I started to understand that more and more. And when I decided to leave, oh my God, at first I was sort of lost because I had the discipline from waking up early and coming home late. That was easy. But I was thinking, like, where's the bell for me to go and to talk to the next client? It was a little like, and then after a month or so, I realized, you know what's the big difference? I am finally free. Now I got to find the freedom, and the freedom came in currency. Now I have to find how I'm going to make myself, how I'm going to pay myself what I've been worth. So that's those are the things that you mentioned right there. There's only one thing I would correct is you said, you know, who's in control? Your daddy. I don't think your daddy's in control. The person that's in control is you when you realize it and you make a change and start paying yourself what you're worth. Because I believe in entrepreneurship.
Now is a a two-part caveat to that. There's a catch-22 there, Leonardo and John, because the person was able to answer the phone, the second phone, right? You have to be an amazing boss to yourself. That means that you can't take vacation too early. That means you shouldn't be calling out because you got sick that day, right? Because you had the freedom, you shouldn't be the Uber driver for your family or the taxi driver for your family. You shouldn't be. And a lot of times people take that freedom and self-sabotage their whole future because they had that freedom. Now, what you should do with that freedom, that autonomy, you should say, you know what? Because I'm worth more now per hour, right? I'm able to work even more for myself and plant more trees, more seed for my future so I can harvest more pineapple and mango trees in my future. You want to be able to say, hey, look, I planted this seed 10, 15, 20 years ago so I could sit in the shade. And now I have the freedom. Now I can take the days off when I want to. Now I could do the stuff that I really, 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 really want to do. Because sometimes I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they abuse the autonomy, they abuse the freedom, and they use it for stuff that's not income producing activities.
That MMA, baby, money making activity. MMA, right. Yes. Yeah. And you know, this all relates, as much as it seemed like we took a little detour, it all relates to making 10,000 a month. You know why? Because if you don't get these things straight, you don't get through these obstacles, you don't see the catch-22, you don't find the proper mentors, you don't follow the right systems. You know, when you go into entrepreneurship, what makes a good opportunity is the system, something that could keep running without you having to be there. If you're not part of that system and you don't have the discipline and work ethic, that 10K, you might as well stay being working for somebody else. That's definitely something that you should really think about. You got to be responsible for your own success at that point. When you want freedom, you know, you got to remember, you know, the freedom, you know, the opportunity and the freedom are free, but the hustle is sold separately. You're going to have to go for it. You know what I'm saying? You have to really, really fight for that part. So that's what I'm saying. But it does relate to the 10K. 10K a month really changes lives, not just yours, but your families. You really become an entrepreneur. And I'll tell you one of the major things that I've learned when I started making over 10K a month. Here's the thing. Now you are hiring people. Because before, when I started under 10K, I had to do everything myself. Now I have employees because I get to buy back my time. So I have assistants. I have someone that does my laundry. If I really don't want to clean my house, just get somebody to clean your house. And it's not a big deal. Instead of washing your own car, you actually go to a car wash, let them wash it. So you start employing people to buy back your time that you spent so much time doing before and wasting part of your time doing all those little minute things. So I think that 10K, as small as it might seem, but it's the new norm. You know what? 10K is like minimum wage in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. I think one of the things people are not taking advantage of is social media. You need to scream and let everyone know from the hills of what you're doing. What you do shouldn't be a secret. And there's two reasons why. One, people are going to support you and you want to put the word out there. And two, people are going to hold you accountable for your goals and for your dreams. And a lot of times people self-sabotage themselves because they feel as though people are going to speak harm on their business, on their future. If you're a believer, you really believe in God, no one can stop you. No one can stop you. No one can speak ill of you. So I always tell people, share your goals. Don't keep it a secret. Your mission, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to help people, don't keep it a mission. And also start networking and building more relationships with people. Because the people can get you there faster.
That's it. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
That's right.
In most cases. So so that part right there, man, you brought something to the attention, which is social media, right? I know my coach always says, document your day. Just document your day. Why? Because people are going to start to associate with you, who you are, with your brand, with your personality, right? Start a podcast. Boom. Just like us right here. ETA, Entrepreneurs in the Arena. This is it. It doesn't get any more raw than this, man. All right. So you start to put yourself out there and let people kind of get to know you before they meet you. All right. Because and if you're doubting if that's powerful or not, look at if you buy or purchase courses or books, what moved you to buy those courses? What moved you to buy those coaching? What moved you to buy those books or whatever? It was the fact that you follow the author. All right, you like them. You already know so much about it. You feel like you already know them. You know that they deliver value with the free stuff. Now imagine what they're gonna do with the paid stuff. All right. So that's that part right there, man. Listen, now let me show you the formula now. Let me share it with you, right? I usually have a whiteboard. It's right next to me. I'm not going to pull it out, I promise. All right? But there's a formula to it. First of all, to be earning whatever number that is, 10,000 is just a starting point. To become a six-figure earner, right? Over 100,000 a year, you have to become it. You have to become that person before that money's in your bank account. All right. You cannot be thinking minimum wage and expecting to have your bank account fill up with 10,000 every month. That's not going to work. All right. Matter of fact, I remember the first time, and I think I shared it before, but I know the audio was no bueno, so I'm going to say it again. Right. I remember the first time I earned over 10,000 a month. It was back in 2020. I hired Alex Schlinsky with Prospecting on Demand. He's out here in Tampa. Young kid, Jewish guy. I learned he was Jewish after the fact, but he was a cool kid, know his stuff. He took me from about $4,500 a month as a social media marketing agency owner, quote unquote. And his essential promise was within 90 days. I think there was a guarantee. I was like, I don't really care for the guarantee, dude. You just get me there, right? The guarantee was within 90 days, 3 months, he would get me from where I was to an additional 10,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And I was paying him $2,500 a month, more than half of what I was receiving. All right. 45 days it took me to cross the $10,000 mark. Fast. What was it? I already knew how to deliver the service. It was just a few things. One, it was my mindset had to unlock to be a person that was earning $10,000 a month. I've never done it before. Into 2020 during the pandemic, by the way. All right. So figure out that that's the best time to do it. When everybody's going down and income is disappearing, you're breaking milestones, right? So you have to become that person in your mind. The Bible says that be renewed by transformation of your mind. If you don't transform your mind and become the person that you should be, you're never going to receive the things that you're expecting. All right. It's like the power of manifestation, meditation, visualizing, see it before you hold it in your hands. Bible says call things as they are, even before they are. All right. So if you want that car, you want that body, you want whatever, name it, see it, put a vision board, put it on your phone, write a sticky note, put it in your pocket, read it, see it every single day, and put in the work. All right. So that's the number one. Become that person. Then become the person that you love, admire, and respect. All right. If you go on social media right now, who do you follow? That's who you are. And the good news is if you're following high caliber individuals, that's who you are deep inside. It's like when they say, why do people cry when they're watching movies? There was a psychologist, I forgot who said it, but he said that the reason why you're crying during that hero moment is because that hero is inside of you and he's crying to come out. All right. If you ever cried like in a part of the movie when you see the guy going from like broke to now being victorious and becoming wealthy in a movie, and you start like watering eyes, like, dude, this is not even sad. Why am I watering down over here? It's inside of you, man. That's your soul speaking. That's your heart speaking to you. You have it inside of you.
Oh, God.
Right? But you just haven't become that person yet. All right. So that's on the inside. Control who you are. Elevate your energy. How do you elevate your energy? Get up early. Go to bed early. Right? The last few days, I'm going to confess, man, I've woken up at 5 a.m. to turn off my alarm. And then I woke up like at 7, 8, or 9 a.m. pissed. I'm mad now. This morning I woke up. I forgot what time I woke up. Like it was like 8 something. After I woke up at 5 to turn off my alarm. And I woke up and I'm like, I'm about to get mad. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get mad. It is what it is. No pasa nada. Like my mentor says. No pasa nada. He's like, nothing's happening. Nothing's wrong. Just pick it from where you are. I got myself ready. Went straight to the gym. Elevate your frequency. Elevate your energy. Right?
Control your thermostat.
That's it. And only you control that. You're going to attract like attracts like. I know Christianity, they don't like to talk about energy, right? Because it's a new world era type thing stuff. Like, dude, God made that. You're going to attract what you are. If you see that you're attracting a bunch of negativity, people that gossip, people that bring negativity to your life, that's who you are. Change it. Cut it off. All right? So that's that part. Control who you are. Now, on the technical side, how do you double your sales? Let's say you're at $5,000 a month and you're a salesperson, right? This is for entrepreneurs only. This is not for people that have a job. And by the way, I got this formula from Myron Golden, so I'm going to give him 100% of the credit. All right? He says the first thing you do, you double your leads. If you have a product that gives you $1,000 a month and you're selling 5 of those and you're making $5,000 a month and you're getting 5 sales out of 50 leads, guess what? Get 100 leads. Now you're going to double your conversions and you're going to double your income like that. Just double the amount of leads you're getting.
Simple mathematics.
Simple math. And you could do that at any number, right? Now, a faster shortcut to that is increase the price of what you're selling. I just increased my $297 plan. I added some juice to it. I increased it to $1,000 a month.
You increase value.
Increase the value, increase what you're charging for it. And how do you calculate how much you should charge for it? Is take whatever you're going to produce for them. If you could produce a $10,000 result, you can charge $1,000 a month. If I say, hey, I got a $100 bill here, would you give me $10 for it? You do it, right?
That's right.
Wait,
it's a no-brainer.
$100 bill.
If I give you if I say, listen, I got a $100 bill, I'm gonna sell it to you for $10. 10x your income, 10x your cash.
I'm gonna give you the $10 right away. As a matter of fact, you take Cash App.
That's value right there. So that's the fastest track to doubling your income. In the next 15 days, don't take long. All right. I've done it several times. It's just double your leads, double your conversion. And then from there, how do you elevate to higher numbers? Offer more value, sell something more high ticket. And how do you sell something high ticket? Find the problem big enough in an audience that is big enough and go solve that problem that they cannot sleep over. And they'll pay you whatever you ask for it, as long as you could fix that problem. All right. So I hope that's helpful, man. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's absolutely genius. It's real simple. Like I always tell people, things are real simple, but sometimes that's what it takes. The simple stuff to do to to execute. Now, let me ask you this, John. The information that the guy gave you, the mentor, the coach, you're a very sharp guy, real smart and hungry. But how long would it have taken you to learn the stuff that he taught you within that small amount of time? How long would it took you by yourself if you would say, hey, look, you know what? I don't need a mentor. I don't need a coach. I got YouTube University. I'm gonna just go trial and error. I'm gonna just keep failing like Einstein did. I'm gonna keep failing. How long would it take you to execute that, to get that result?
A lifetime. I would have never learned it.
Wow.
You do not know what you do not know. I didn't even know what an SOP was. I've never heard of an SOP. Dude, I went to business school, small business management with a minor in finance. I never heard of that term. Maybe I didn't pay attention, but I never heard of that term, right? SOPs, have a proper SOP, standard operating procedures. There was a few other things, right? Like, for example, daily, I forgot. Daily tracking metrics, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about, right? Is how are you tracking your daily activities? Are you keeping track of it? Are you writing down the numbers? How many calls you made today? How many appointments, right? What was the conversion percentage from that? All right. The presentation, there was a formula and I didn't even know. Man, listen, when I tell you, all I did was tweak the presentation, I was selling. I thought I was a professional because I did the 10X selling and I thought I was a pro. I was in 10X University, blah, blah, blah. But there's a framework on how you sell. You start with upfront stating what your reasoning. You're stating not the reasoning. You're stating the expectation from that call right from the beginning. All right. Then you go right into fact finding. What I was doing wrong was I was going intro and I was going straight to the product.
You were being salesy.
How can someone buy something if you haven't magnified the importance and why they need it? You have to remind them because they know. But if you just started talking about the car is red, the car has leather seats, the car goes 0 to 60 in 2 seconds or whatever. All right. You lost me, man. But now if you're talking to me about the car and you're like, hey, imagine you putting the top down in Miami by the beach, letting your hair flow. That doesn't apply to me and Leo. Letting your hair flow with the top down. How would you feel? Imagine pulling into your garage. Imagine pulling out of your garage. Now you just sold me on that vision. All right. But to answer your question, man, I would have never figured it out. Imagine, I was from 2017 when I opened the social media marketing agency all the way to the beginning of 2020. I was stuck. I wasn't making more than $5,000 a month. Amazing. That was okay for me at the time to live off, right? But that's not a business. That's a glorified job.
Right.
All right. Now I lost my benefits because I didn't have a job, right? Now I'm working way more time and making less money. Most entrepreneurs out there right now, they're making about $1.50 an hour. And they think they're balling.
I always tell people this: you can't have a big business, you can't make a lot of money and have an ego. You got to give up one. And by you hiring a mentor, you gave your ego and said, you know what? I could learn from this young brother. He could take me to the next level, and that's what you did. So now you have a big business.
That's it. And all because you said it. Put your ego to the side. I was already fed up. I was definitely stuck, and I knew that. I remember Alex saying this to me on a Zoom call. And then I went back and I watched the recording. I was like, man, it was all over my face. He said, John, I can see the frustration on your face. This man let me come in. It's a $2,500 program. I didn't have $2,500. He goes, John, how much you got in your account right now? And it was a little bit over $500. He said, I'll let you in the program and I'll give you 2 weeks to come up with the other 2,000. Start with the $500 and I'll start you right on the program. That was the best thing that man ever did for me. That first week, I remember I sold like 3 packages at $2,700 a month. I was hungry, man. And I remember in the back of my head what Grant Cardone always says: commit first, figure out the rest later. What happens in life today is most people want to figure it out first before they do it. You never figure it out. It's like trying to say I'm trying to lose weight before you go to the gym and start eating right. Good luck. You could sit down and meditate all you want. Good luck with that. All right. There's a formula. And what's the fastest way? Like you said it, Mark. Get a mentor. And not just a mentor. Get a mentor that has accomplished the thing that you want to accomplish in your life. Because there's a lot of so-called coaches out there, and I see it all the time. All right. They blow their nose one time without getting boogies on their shirt. Now they're a coach. I'm going to teach you how to blow your nose without getting boogies on your shirt. All right. Because I did it one time.
You did it once.
So when someone is looking for a mentor, there's three things I look for. They had the theory, right? That means they had the knowledge, right? Application, meaning that they did it before, right? Theory, application. What's the third one? The third one is experience. They actually have years and trial errors where they taught someone else how to do the same thing. So it's T, theory, experience E, and application A. That's our logo, right? ETA.
ETA.
The letters are there.
ETA, man.
Experience, theory, and application.
That's it. And
That's
one of the reasons
powerful.
that is extremely powerful, man. And another thing I would add to it, and that goes with number 3, what you said is the best way to find out how good a coach is, talk to their mentees. They're never gonna lie for the coach.
Referrals. Yeah.
Right? Look at the lifestyle of the top producers. And remember, not everyone is gonna produce. All right. The 80-20 rule. Inside of 100, you're gonna find about 20% that are doing something worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
The other 80% they're cheering on. Right? You cannot change people. Some people are not hungry. Some people don't want it.
Right.
Some people are okay settling for a mediocre life. Right?
I'll tell you what, when looking for a mentor, I also want to see, I would look at all those things, and then comes the personal time. What I mean by that, I need to actually speak to the mentor, because one of the questions I would like to know is how many people has he helped succeed? You know, that's one thing I really, 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 really like about Mark, and his name suits him. Mark's genuine thought is how he's going to help everyone else. It's like he understands that helping everyone else helps him as well. So it's like that heart is very important when choosing a mentor, because not everybody's for everybody either. You know, yes, you don't want somebody soft, and you don't want somebody too hard, but you do want somebody that understands you, or is willing to try to understand you in order to give you the right information. Because if you're not going to be flexible to that person, you might as well just go buy a self-help book. You can go online for that. They speak to the general public. Each one of us is so individual. We're such an individual. We're so different. We're so unique that, like, for you, John, that guy that mentored you just needed a few tweaks, right? I can consider myself an intelligent person, and even if I knew some of those things, it might have not been a few tweaks. I might have to throw away, burn the notebook, and restart rewriting the story. And that has nothing to do with intelligence level. It just has to do that he and you had a common understanding where it made it easier to communicate. Because that frequency of communication is very important. Understanding where the person's coming from, being ready to take in advice. All of this, again, for those of you listening, all of this relates to making 10K, because if you're not making it, you have to make these changes. Because if you want to get somewhere, you're gonna have to make changes. And it starts with your changes on how you see things, how you believe things, and now how you execute on those things that you're being taught or told today through our beautiful podcast here. Because we can say until our face turns blue. It means nothing until you actually take at least one piece of advice and start making the change. Because we can give you the formula, we can hold your hand and try to walk you through it, but you still got to want to do it. You got to want to do it. And it starts, that's one of the hardest things we face in our world is ourselves. So they're going to have to change themselves, their mindset, and go from the mind. Like you said, everything starts here. You got to see it before you do it, right? That didn't actually work for me, but I didn't realize I was doing it that way. I was told to just follow, because I had to break the way I was thinking. It was like, this is what I want you to do. For the next week, just do what I say, as long as it's legal and it doesn't hurt you. So no problem. They kept putting 20 leads in my hand and said, now just go work them. I said, okay. After the first week, I built up that tolerance to be able to do it because I was never in sales. So I was used to teaching. So they had to break my whole thought process. You know, when you're helping people with insurance, I'll give you a tip real quick. You want to make sure they can explain it. As a teacher coming into that, you can easily over-present. You can start giving definition of words. You can start saying, well, if this happens in 10 years, if this happens in 3 years, people don't think that way. They just want to know, when I die, is this going to be taken care of? Yes. Okay. So you have to learn the simplicities of what we do and not make it so complex. So I had to be broken down. So like I said, for you, you were in the right field, had the right mentor because you were on the same frequency. So he just said, oh, all you need is add this nut, this bolt, and you're done. With some other people, you got to be careful when you pick a mentor because, again, it's like what we said at the beginning, copy the right cat. Usually that comes with being at the same, you know, your mentor has to be able to see you, understand you, to be able to give you advice to help you move forward. I hope that makes sense. I know it did to me, though.
Makes sense. And I know I see Mark itching to say something. Mark, I know you got a bomb right there. Go ahead, man.
So you say you got to make a decision. What rhymes with decision? What rhymes with decide? Suicide, right? Homicide. You need to execute yourself. You need to murder yourself. You need to commit suicide with your old self in order to give birth to something new, and that's your new self. You can't move forward. And John, that was the first formula he gave. You need to believe, and you need to be somebody else. You can't be the same person expecting the same thing. And we can't no longer move forward and be insane. We can't do that. So we need to make it. We need to decide. We need to make a decision and commit to what we want to do. Just like fire, you're gonna set you on fire. Anything that fire touches is never the same ever again. You put fire on metal. Now you got to go through a remolding now, a rebranding now. You're not the same person. That comes with your mindset. And how does that happen? Working with the same people that you're trying to become.
That's it, man. That's it. You said it right there. You got to die to self. You know, it's like the Bible says, when you come to Christ, you're a new creature. The old man has died, right? The old habits have died. So it's the same thing with business. Right. So to wrap up this puppy, guys, listen, I know we gave you a lot. Go ahead and re-watch this video wherever you're watching right now. Just go to YouTube, right? Go on social media, go on Instagram. If you've seen this on any of our social medias, you want the replay, just DM us, right? We'll send you the replay to this and really pay attention to the details, right? Is you have to become that person in your mind. Work on yourself. Be somebody that you can look in the mirror, be proud of. All right. It doesn't matter where you're at. Like at the beginning of the year, I looked at myself. I was like, man, this is not who I want to be, right? I was like about 18 pounds overweight. I was like, this is not who I am, all right? And some people are okay being chubby, right? I said for me, for John Medina, this is not where I'm at. Because when I've been, and I go back to January, it was a rough time for me ending last year, by the way, mentally, right? Last year was a good year about into August. In August, I started having like mental weakness, and it went like this. And I was praying, literally in December, I was praying for the year to be over. All right, because my mindset was just too many things happening at the same time, too many changes, right? Lost some clients, and then I learned the Stoicism philosophy, which is do not get attached to anything. Don't get attached even to your wife or your kids. They could all die tomorrow, right? And it sounds harsh, but it's a reality. Don't get attached to the outcome. And then I started thinking this way, like Jim Rohn would say. I forgot how he says it, but like Jim Rohn, if you know the voice of Jim Rohn, you know how he sounds. But he said, thank God, something like about that all we have to do is plant the seed and God makes it grow. Right? You don't have to focus on the seed, the tree growing. You just plant the right seeds. So I started planting the right seeds, waking up at 5 a.m, hitting the gym, eating clean, following my macros, having an actual business, running Facebook ads, man. Listen, that's one of the things that most coaches don't tell you. Run ads, run paid advertisement. If you are not known, if you're not Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Lopez, right? Jesus Christ, and nobody knows who you are. You got to run ads, man. Run a good offer, run it to the right people, and that alone is going to propel you to doubling those leads, which is going to, in results, double that income for you. All right. So work on your mindset, put in good stuff. You know, let's say you put crap in, you're going to get crap out. That's just how it works. All right. That stuff is big. So don't mind me here. I'm getting a call from my system, from Jacqueline. Jacqueline, if you're watching, I don't know who you are. I'm just kidding. I don't even know who that is.
So you're not kidding.
He's a lead calling me live. I have no clue who that is. But I call him back. That's what happens when you run your entire business from your computer and you're streaming right from it. My phone just started ringing. But listen, that's the strategy. Put in the work. Make up your schedule the night before. Wake up with a plan. Don't wake up and just wherever the wind takes me today, right? Because that's dangerous. So we're going to wrap up with this, guys. Any last words for these folks other than make sure that you're following on all of our social media? Just look us up as ETA Podcast Live. That's going to be the name across all of our social media. And also make sure that you follow us personally on our social media as well for some good content. But guys, take it away. What do we got?
So I would like to say, look, it's all about having a clear strategy, and let's stop thinking that working harder is going to get us there. We need to work harder and smarter. Okay, so work smarter, guys.
All right. For me, is today is real simple. Be the change you want to see. And that is what we got for you today. And we're coming to you live from ETA, Entrepreneurs in the Arena, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time. Same channel, same time. ETA, ladies and gentlemen, we're out.